people don't control like their parents and their circumstances and like the families they're born into, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I think
so. It kind of might be unfair, like to a certain person, right? But like this study after study after study will show like if a woman has an abusive, father or whatever, she's gonna have like self-esteem issues, and there's gonna be issues there or whatever. If her father was present, and she was, he was, a good father to her and stuff, it'll affect her, and in a positive way, and it'll affect how she is in a relationship with her partner, and vice versa. How the man was like brought up will affect him and stuff. So like, how do you balance that with the person had no choice over like their
I think there's a lot of this coming around, because unfortunately, even though we happen to be Coptic, the Coptic Church is suffering with the issue of divorce as much as any other culture.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think our numbers are that far off of the average.
What do you think it is?
I think we were at like 50% divorce rate in the Coptic Church.
Where? Coptic Church?
California, let's say Coptic Church in California.
Really?
Yeah.
In the past, what?
10 years.
Really? You just making this stat up, George?
No, I'm hearing this. I don't know. I haven't taken a census.
It's like anecdotal.
But I'm hearing this from priests and from people close to the service. But it's not an exact number.
Okay, but it's higher than we think it is.
Yes, and it's higher than we think it is also because those who get divorced are not coming to church anymore. So you, by thinking, oh no, but everybody at church is together, that's a skewed number, because the people who get divorced a lot of times stop coming. So you're basing it on who you see,
right? There's also
and very few people who get divorced feel like they can continue going to church, whether it's our parents' age or people our age. There's that shame that separates you, and it and so a lot of people our parents' ages are divorced, which is a shameful thing. It's a sad thing. My parents are divorced. It's a sad thing. But when it's 50% of them, then you can't. I'm a big person. I'm a big believer of every person is held accountable for their own lives, right? Like, you can't blame your parents for your problems, right? You can say that made your road a little harder or a little easier, but you can't live your life blaming the previous generation for your issues.
Right.
So you can't say, well, because my parents did this, then that's for sure going to happen to me. I think everybody should be personally accountable for themselves. And so there are people who are going to come from broken homes that could still be good quality people. The person who is looking for someone and knowing that they come from a broken family, right? Or meet someone and they know that person comes from a broken family. I don't think they should discredit them. I think maybe they should look a little deeper and see how that affected that person. How is that person, did that person internalize it? Did they grow from that and become better?
Right.
Did they get affected and now they've become bitter? Who knows what could have happened?
Yeah.
I know some people who have become amazing after that, not because that made them amazing, but because they were resilient and they held on to God and they found other ways to deal with that pain. And there's, of course, people who, like you said, because their parents did a certain thing or they saw a certain example modeled for them at home, that they're carrying that model. So no, I don't think we should discredit people because of their families. And if there's something you see in another person or another person's family that you don't like, just be patient, dig a little deeper, find out a little more, because in the end, everybody can be different. Like, somebody could be totally different than their parents. So it's not fair to go around judging people that way.
Yeah.
Does it affect? Yeah, it affects everyone. Everyone's starting at a different starting point, right? If there's a lot of factors that, like you were talking about, like abuse or come from a divorced family or whatever it is, you're at a different starting point than someone else is.
Right.
But I think that when you look at what Christ gives, he knows that he gives some people 1 talent, we call it that, and he knows he gives some people 10. But when you have 10, you're expected to do something with your 10, and you're expected to come back, you know, tenfold. And so the whole point of that parable wasn't who can produce the most, but what did you do with what you were given? And so when you are born into circumstances that are difficult, absolutely, there's disadvantages there. There's relearning that you have to do. But a lot of times it's like you kind of learn to, if you come out resilient, you learn to cling on to God more, you know? And so it's what you make of those circumstances.